Season 8 has some of the coolest rewards ever introduced to the game, and those rewards are locked behind a pretty hefty grind of PvP gameplay. Unfortunately, this seems to have shone a spotlight on a problem that has always been present but is now spreading throughout the new gameplay mode. In today's video, I'm going to talk about whether it's time for Sea of Thieves to introduce Anticheat, and what Rare's plans could be to deal with cheating in the game. I'm also going to talk about a few new amazing quality of life features that we know are coming to the game in time for Season 9, including a change to how we sell emissary flags, so stay tuned for that. Hello pirates, my name is Ellie and I post regular Sea of Thieves videos on this channel. If you want to stay up to date with the game, then remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I put up a new video. I also have a Discord server that you can join and find crewmates to sail with, and you can also always follow me on Twitter at EllieBoopPlays. Okay, so first up I want to briefly talk about a problem that has been seeing a lot of limelight lately, and that's the cheating that's been going on in the game, specifically in the new game mode. Now don't get me wrong, cheating has always been a thing in Sea of Thieves from day one, and like all online games it's been a problem since day one. However, I have to admit I don't recall Arena being flooded with cheaters in quite the same way that this Season 8 game mode has been. Now, flooded with cheaters might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I've got maybe 2,500 hours in this game, and I've experienced suspected cheaters maybe 3 times, 2 of those times during the Season 8 battle mode. Friends of mine who've played for countless hours have also experienced a wave of cheats going on in Season 8, and you only have to take a brief look at Twitter to see the complaints and clips of kegs spawning, ships being restored, and speed movement to see there's really something going on. So it's pretty obvious that there's a problem. It's likely that the new curses have something to do with it. This grind to level 100 is probably the hardest content that Sea of Thieves have ever released, and so it's not really a surprise that it's sought after. And these days, unfortunately, that attracts players who are willing to cheat in order to get what they want. A lot of the player base are calling for Anticheat to fix this issue, but is Anticheat the answer? I'm not 100% sure. I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on how Anticheat works, but I do know that one of the biggest things that they tend to do is check for third-party software that is interfering with the game. Now, sure, this would likely catch a lot of the players who are up to no good. However, one of the problems that I have seen in the past with anti-cheats that are deployed after a game has launched, like well after a game has launched, is a ban wave of players who get caught up in this supposed learning phase where the anti-cheat software learns what is normal behaviour in a game and what is not. Now, aside from checking for externally running software, I'm pretty sure that Anticheat can detect irregular movement and things that wouldn't usually happen as a way of detecting cheating. Unfortunately, I feel like in a game as, shall we say, unstable as Sea of Thieves, this could cause a lot of bans that aren't actually warranted. Personally, I think a basic anti-cheat that can detect external third-party nefarious software would be a great start to reducing the negative experience for other players. However, I do think it would need to be refined with an in-game reporting feature, but more on that in a minute. Let me know what you think about Rare implementing an anti-cheat for their game. Do you think it's time they did this? Have you experienced cheating in the game more since Season 8? Let me know down in the comments. One of the areas that I believe could massively help the cheating issue is the ability for players to report other players from actually within the game. Almost all online multiplayer games have had a report a player feature from launch, and my assumption is that these developers have systems in place which will track the data surrounding the report being placed. This is something that Rare have been criticised for in the past, but I believe Rare have been working on an in-game reporting feature since at least around Season 5 of Sea of Thieves. We're talking way back with that massive Quality of Life Season 5 update in December 2021. If you cast your minds back, Season 5 was a big quality of life update with things like fireworks, rats, the changes to storage crates, the addition of birds over Meg and Kraken loot. These were all huge quality of life fixes, and during the reveals for that season, a menu screen was used to show that you could disable rats on your ship if you didn't like them. And on this menu, there was a pretty obvious new option at the top of the list: report a player. Now, obviously this isn't in-game right now. This feature was mostly overlooked during that season update because it wasn't mentioned by Rare themselves and it never made it to the game. Now, I do wonder if off the back of Captaincy and the Season 8 battle mode, if perhaps Season 9 will be more of a quality of life heavy update, much like Season 5 was. If that's the case, then there are several features that would definitely fit into that quality of life style update. The first would of course be the report a player option. Perhaps this was pushed back due to issues internally, although I am surprised they didn't get it ready for Season 8. Next up is a feature which has been confirmed by Andrew Preston to be coming to the game, and that's the birds that will eventually spawn over players' ship Flotsam. Much like skeleton ships and Megs in the game, this is mainly a thing that will help solo sloopers, who in the new game mode can sometimes find that the supplies dropped by the other ship are hard to spot, especially if you were down patching when the other crew sank. Another quality of life update that was actually snuck in as an accessibility update with the most recent patch was the ambient sounds around rocks in the open ocean. You'll probably have noticed that there's now a bunch of new ocean and water sounds surrounding these rocks, and this was added in the latest patch as an accessibility update. However, there have been calls for this sound to be lowered a little, or at least for players to have the option to turn it on or off or control the volume. It'll be interesting to see if they add this down the line. Another audio-related fix that has been confirmed to be coming to the game with Season 9 is the ability to adjust the music sound for cannon hits and player kills separately from the in-game music. At the moment, cannon hit sounds and player kills are tied in with the game music volume, and so it can be quite difficult to hear sometimes, especially in the new Season 8 battle mode with the battle music. You can't always hear the cannon hit sounds, and so this is now going to be separated for Season 9. Now, we also had the delay to stamp migration, which was supposed to arrive with the latest patch in Season 8. There haven't been any official updates on when this change will be implemented now, but I don't think they're going to wait till Season 9 for this. I believe the issue they faced right before release was one they classed as critical, and so hopefully their teams will have been hard at work resolving this, and perhaps we'll get a patch to introduce the stamp migration update in the very near future. Another thing that happened right before the latest patch was obviously the release of the new adventure, and along with that, the new trailer. Typically in the past, we've had a cinematic style trailer release on the Monday before the launch of the gameplay trailer on the release on Thursday, right before the adventures would go live. This time, they've opted to scrap the Monday cinematic and merge the launch and cinematic trailers together, and they released the launch trailer right before the adventure went live. It's been confirmed that this is how things are going to be going forward, and personally I don't see an issue with this. It's been said that potentially this is due to a larger update in the pipeline, and so bigger cinematic work is being done on something else, but to be honest, I think it's more just a case of the majority of the player base probably weren't watching the cinematic trailers. We were only really seeing the launch trailers right before the updates anyway. This new approach will mean that players will see the story cinematic combined with actual gameplay for the adventure, which in all honesty will set expectations more realistically for the adventure right before it's launched. Now this one is pretty exciting, and whilst not officially announced, it has been all but confirmed to be coming to the game. At the moment, when you're sailing as an Athena emissary and you sink Reapers, you are able to sell Reapers flags to the mysterious stranger in the tavern at any outpost. Now this was a new feature added with Season 8 alongside the new battle mode. However, it did make it seem pretty unfair that if you were running Reapers, you couldn't just sell your Athena flags at any outpost, or any other flags for that matter. You still had to sail all the way to Reapers to sell any flags. However, that could be about to change. On Twitter, Andrew Preston all but confirmed that the ability to sell other flags at outposts could be coming soon, and potentially with Season 9. There has even been the suggestion that you could hand all flags to the Reaper skeleton at the Reaper's tables at outposts, and he will safely deliver your flags to the hideout for you. This would be a great feature, and definitely again would fit with a massive quality of life update, which I now believe Season 9 is going to be. Should we have to sail to Reapers, or would you like to be able to sell all flags at outposts? Let me know down in the comments. That's it for this one. Season 9 is probably about 5 weeks away now, and I for one am looking forward to any information about what might be included in that update. We're getting a few hints here and there, and it does look like Season 9 is going to be heavy in the quality of life department, but we'll have to wait and see what the main content centerpiece will be. If you liked the video, then please do leave a like and subscribe for more Sea of Thieves content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the seas!